The crackling fire cast dancing shadows on the faces huddled around it. Sarah, the seasoned hiker, stoked the flames, her gaze occasionally flicking towards the dark wall of the forest behind them. Across from her, Liam, the ever-optimistic photographer, adjusted his camera, capturing the flickering light and their carefree smiles. Nestled between them were Emily, the bookish history buff, lost in a well-worn journal, and Alex, the group's jokester, regaling them with exaggerated tales of past camping trips. Their campsite nestled in a secluded clearing, chosen for its picturesque serenity. But as the night deepened, an unsettling silence settled upon them. The usual symphony of nocturnal creatures was replaced by an unnerving quiet. Even the fire seemed to sputter and cough, casting grotesque shapes on the surrounding trees. Emily, finally tearing her gaze away from her journal, shivered. "This woods feels off," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. Liam, ever the charmer, scoffed. "Just your imagination. Relax, enjoy the quiet." But the quiet persisted, broken only by the occasional snap of a twig or the rustle of leaves in a non-existent breeze. Sarah, her intuition sending warning signals, scanned the darkness beyond the firelight. "Maybe we should head in for the night," she suggested, her voice tight. Alex, mid-anecdote, faltered. "Wait," he interrupted. "Did anyone else hear that?" A low rhythmic chanting echoed from the depths of the woods. It was a haunting melody, devoid of melody, sending chills down their spines. Liam, a flicker of worry replacing his usual confidence, fumbled with his phone, searching for a signal. There was none. The chanting grew closer, circling their campsite. Fear, thick and suffocating, filled the air. Sarah, grabbing a flashlight, shone it towards the tree line. Two glowing red orbs emerged from the darkness, followed by another pair, and another. The chanting ceased, replaced by a low growl. Panic erupted. Scrambling to their feet, they stumbled towards their tents, the growls escalating into a chorus of chilling roars. Sarah fumbled with the tent zipper, sweat slicking her palms. A monstrous shadow loomed over her. Through the mesh screen, she saw a hulking figure, its form obscured by darkness, its eyes glowing with an unnatural red light. A desperate scream tore from her throat. Liam, emerging from his tent, saw the creature and froze. Then, with a surge of adrenaline, he grabbed his camera. The flash momentarily blinded the creature, and in that fleeting instant, Liam saw it, a grotesque parody of a bear, its fur matted, and fused with the very bark of the trees, its body a grotesque patchwork of flesh and wood. Enraged by the flash, the creature roared and lunged towards Liam. In a blur of desperate movement, Sarah tackled Liam, pulling him back into the tent, just as the creature's claws raked across the mesh. Huddled together, they listened to the guttural growls fade into the night. Dawn revealed a horrifying truth. The clearing was marred by claw marks and ripped tent canvas. But the creatures were gone, vanished like a nightmare. Liam's camera, lying discarded on the ground, displayed a single image, a grainy picture of the monstrous creature, its eyes glowing with an unnatural hunger. They emerged from the campsite, forever scarred by their encounter. The once inviting forest now stood as a grim reminder of the lurking darkness, a place where the very trees could harbor monstrous secrets. As they walked away, the wind seemed to carry a faint echo of the campfire's song, a chilling melody now forever stained with the memory of the creatures it had called forth. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows through the towering pines as Amelia, Ben, and Tro set up camp. Laughter mingled with the rhythmic sound of the axe as Ben chopped firewood. Amelia, The ever-organized one meticulously unfurled the map, plotting their route for the next day's hike. Chloe, the self-proclaimed nature enthusiast, collected wildflowers, a vibrant bouquet contrasting against her dark backpack. The serenity was shattered by a sudden, unsettling silence. The birdsong ceased, replaced by an eerie quietude that hung heavy in the air. Ben, noticing the change, paused his chopping. "Something feels off," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. Amelia looked up from the map, a frown creasing her forehead. "Probably just the wind changing direction," she offered unconvincingly. As dusk settled, casting long, twisting shadows across the clearing, an unsettling feeling began to gnaw at them. The silence was broken only by the occasional creak of a branch under the weight of an unseen creature. The fire, once crackling merrily, sputtered and died, leaving them in an unsettling darkness. Chloe, her initial bravado fading, shivered. "Maybe we should have camped further from the tree line," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Suddenly, a faint melody drifted through the air. It wasn't a recognizable song, but a haunting tune composed of rustling leaves and snapping twigs. The melody seemed to circle the campsite, growing louder, more insistent with each pass. A primal fear gripped them. Their hearts hammered against their ribs as they huddled closer, seeking comfort in each other's presence. The melody morphed, whispers replacing the rustling sounds. The whispers, though unintelligible, held a distinct malice, filled with a chilling intent. Then, his voice trembling, broke the silence. "What are they saying?" Neither Amelia nor Chloe could answer. The whispers seemed to target each of them individually, weaving a tapestry of their deepest fears and anxieties. Amelia heard her mother's voice, laced with disappointment, questioning her life choices. Ben, an aspiring writer, heard his rejection letters read aloud in a mocking tone. Chloe, burdened by a past mistake, heard accusing voices replaying her transgression. Paralyzed by fear, they were powerless to resist the psychological assault. The whispers intensified, turning into screams of accusation and despair. Tears streamed down their faces as they fought the urge to succumb to the voices' malicious intent. Just as they reached the brink of despair, a new sound pierced the night, a loud, rhythmic drumming. It originated from the depths of the forest, a counterpoint to the chilling whispers. The drumming grew louder, a primal beat that seemed to resonate with the very earth beneath their feet. The whispers faltered, then ceased altogether. The melody of the rustling leaves devolved into a frantic, scattering sound as unseen creatures fled the clearing. The drumming continued for a while, then faded into the night, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Dawn arrived, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. The campsite appeared normal, the only evidence of the night's horror a lingering sense of dread. They packed their belongings in a tense silence, the jovial banter of the previous day replaced by a heavy weight of unspoken fear. Leaving the campsite behind, they entered the forest, the towering pines no longer majestic giants but menacing sentinels. The whispering pines, as they would forever call it, remained a chilling reminder of the unseen forces that lurked in the heart of nature, waiting to prey on the vulnerabilities hidden within their hearts. The rusted trailer loomed like a skeletal beast against the dying embers of the campfire. Sarah, the seasoned camper, eyed it with suspicion. Her brother Alex, ever the optimist, was already unpacking their gear, humming a cheerful tune. Their friend, Noah, the history buff, adjusted his glasses, peering at the faded inscription on the trailer's side. "Happy Trails Campground, established 1952. Looks abandoned. Noah muttered, his voice laced with a hint of unease. Sarah, despite her misgivings, couldn't argue. The sun was setting, casting long ominous shadows across the clearing. Their planned campsite further down the trail was inaccessible due to a recent storm. The rusty trailer, despite its unsettling presence, offered a roof over their heads for the night. The interior was dusty and cobweb-laden, furniture draped in faded sheets. A stale, metallic scent hung in the air. Alex, ever the pragmatist, brushed off the dust from a rickety table. Not ideal, but it'll do for one night. As darkness fell, an unsettling stillness descended upon the clearing. The usual symphony of nocturnal creatures was muted, replaced by an unnatural silence. Sarah felt a prickle of unease crawl up her spine. Noah, engrossed in a dog-eared book titled Local Legends of Blackwood Forest, shivered. "This place has a dark history," he mumbled, his voice barely a whisper. He spoke of a ritualistic sacrifice that supposedly took place near the old campground, involving the offering of metal to appease a malevolent entity. Alex scoffed. "Local folklore, Noah, relax. Let's just get some sleep." But sleep wouldn't come. Strange creaks and groans emanated from the trailer's rusted frame. The silence outside was broken by a rhythmic, scraping sound, growing closer, more insistent. Fear gnawed at their minds, fueled by Noah's chilling story. Suddenly, a horrifying screech tore through the night. A monstrous figure emerged from the darkness, a grotesque amalgamation of warped metal and skeletal limbs, its eyes glowing with an unnatural red light. The entity, drawn by the trailer's rusted shell, mistook it for an offering. Panic erupted. Sarah grabbed a flashlight, its beam revealing the creature's horrifying form. Alex, armed with a stray branch, stood his ground. Noah, his fear momentarily forgotten, scanned his book for a solution. "The ritual," he yelled, his voice hoarse. "It requires a different offering. Something pure, something not tainted by metal." Understanding dawned on Sarah. She ripped the metal zipper from her backpack, tossing it towards the creature. The entity, its glowing eyes fixated on the glinting metal, lunged for the offering. Sarah and Alex seized the opportunity, scrambling out of the trailer and into the night. They sprinted towards the forest, the rusted trailer collapsing behind them with a deafening roar. The metallic scraping ceased, replaced by a frustrated screech from the entity entombed within the wreckage. Dawn revealed a scene of devastation. The clearing was marred by the twisted remains of the trailer, a stark reminder of the horrors they had faced. Relief mingled with a chilling realization. The entity remained trapped, but the Blackwood Forest held secrets far more unsettling than forgotten folklore. They trekked away, forever marked by their encounter with the ritual of rust, a cautionary tale of the darkness that can lurk within the seemingly mundane. The flickering fire cast dancing shadows on the faces huddled around it. Maya, the fearless leader, stoked the flames, her gaze fixed on the imposing silhouette of the mountain looming behind them. Beside her, Ethan, the meticulous planner, meticulously checked their supplies. Nestled between them were Tro, the free-spirited photographer, captivated by the star-studded sky, and Liam, the local guide, his usual jovial demeanor replaced by a flicker of unease. Their destination, a hidden cave system rumored to be adorned with ancient paintings. Liam, raised on local legends, spoke of the Painted Caves, a place of both beauty and danger. He warned of restless spirits trapped within the cave walls and voices that lured the unwary to their doom. Despite the warnings, fueled by a thirst for adventure and a desire for captivating photographs, They ventured into the cave system the next morning. The entrance, a narrow gap in the mountainside, swallowed them whole. Inside, the air grew cool and damp, the only light provided by their headlamps. The cave walls, smooth and polished, were a canvas for a breathtaking display of ancient paintings. Vividly colored figures of animals, humans, and strange, otherworldly creatures adorned the rock. Cho, captivated by the artistry, snapped photos with feverish enthusiasm. As they delved deeper, the paintings changed. The vibrant colors faded, replaced by dark, swirling figures and cryptic symbols. An oppressive silence descended, broken only by the dripping of water and the occasional snap of a falling rock. Liam, feeling a growing sense of dread, urged them to turn back. But Maya, fueled by a sense of discovery, pressed on. Ethan, ever cautious, documented their progress with meticulous notes. Then it began. A faint whisper echoed through the cavern, vaguely audible at first, then growing louder, more insistent. The whispers seemed to emanate from the paintings themselves, swirling figures morphing into grotesque faces that spoke in an unknown tongue. The whispers targeted each of them individually. Maya heard a voice promising her eternal fame in exchange for remaining. Ethan heard calculations recited in a mocking tone, questioning his intelligence. Cho saw visions of her photos displayed in grand galleries, a future she desperately craved. Liam, paralyzed by fear, heard the whispers replaying his deepest regret, not following his grandfather's warnings about the caves. Panic erupted. The whispers intensified, weaving a web of temptation and manipulation. Cho, blinded by the alluring vision of success, wandered deeper into the cave, her camera clicking incessantly. Ethan, consumed by the mocking voice, became obsessed with deciphering the cryptic symbols. Maya, torn between ambition and fear, remained frozen in place. Only Liam, fueled by regret and a desperate desire to protect his friends, saw the danger clearly. He grabbed Ethan, pulling him away from the symbols. He called out to Maya, reminding her of their shared adventure. The sudden change in focus disrupted the whispers. The air crackled with a malevolent energy as the cave walls pulsed with a sickly green light. The figures in the paintings writhed, morphing into grotesque creatures that lunged towards them. In a desperate scramble, they fled the cave, the whispers echoing behind them like a chilling curse. They emerged, breathless and shaken, into the warm sunlight. The imposing mountain loomed behind them, a stark reminder of the darkness that resided within. The painted caves remained a terrifying legend, a cautionary tale of where ambition could lead. The whispers, though silenced, hung heavy in their memories, a constant reminder of the voices that lurk in the shadows, promising beauty and fulfillment, while masking a terrifying truth. The wind howled a mournful song through the skeletal pines as Sarah, David, and Emily set up camp. Sarah, the seasoned outdoorswoman, meticulously secured the tent against the encroaching darkness. David, the self-proclaimed comedian, attempted to lighten the mood with nervous jokes. Emily, the quiet observer, kept her gaze fixed on the swirling mist creeping in from the distant valley. Their campsite, nestled against a sheer rock face, offered a breathtaking view. A panorama of rolling hills swallowed by an ever-expanding sea of white. But with the sunset, a sense of unease settled upon them. The wind picked up, carrying with it a low, mournful sound, a chilling howl that seemed to emanate from the very mist itself. David, his bravado fading, huddled closer to the crackling campfire. "Sounds like a wild animal," he offered, his voice barely a whisper. Sarah, a knot of worry tightening in her stomach, shook her head. Doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard before. Emily, her brow furrowed in concentration, spoke up. There's a local legend about the howling fog, she said, her voice barely audible over the wind. It speaks of a malevolent spirit trapped within the mist, luring travellers to their doom with its mournful cries. Scoffs met her words, but as night deepened, the howling intensified, morphing into a symphony of chilling voices, each one whispering secrets, fears, and long-forgotten regrets. Sarah felt a pang of guilt as the voice echoed her past mistake, a decision that still haunted her dreams. David heard whispers mocking his insecurities, his comedic facade crumbling under the weight of their accusations. Emily, battling a past trauma, felt the voices resurface, dragging her back into the darkness. Paralyzed by fear, they huddled together, the campfire offering little comfort against the chilling whispers. The fog, thick and almost tangible, began to seep into the campsite, its tendrils reaching for the tent like ghostly fingers. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the mist, a wispy apparition with glowing eyes and a distorted face that mirrored their deepest fears. It spoke in a voice that seemed to emanate from every direction, promising them what they desired most in exchange for joining the fog. Sarah envisioned a reunion with her estranged family. David saw himself on a sold-out comedy tour, his jokes receiving thunderous applause. Emily pictured a world free from her past trauma, a life filled with peace and solace. Just as they were on the verge of succumbing to the alluring whispers, a memory jolted Sarah back to reality. A childhood camping trip with her grandfather, a seasoned outdoorsman who taught her a crucial lesson: fire repels the darkness. With newfound resolve, she grabbed a burning branch and waved it at the approaching figure. The flames crackled and hissed, forcing the apparition back into the mist. The whispers faltered, then ceased altogether. The fog, losing its tendrils of darkness, began to recede. Exhausted but relieved, they watched as the first rays of dawn painted the sky a hopeful orange. The howling fog reigned shrouded in mystery, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the mist, prey on vulnerabilities and forgotten fears. As they packed up their campsite, the wind still carried a faint echo of the mournful howl, a stark warning against the seductive whispers of the unknown. The towering pines cast long skeletal shadows as Alex, Maya, and Ben ventured deeper into the Blackwood forest. Alex, the seasoned hiker, navigated by map and compass, his usual confidence tempered by a respect for the forest's untamed nature. Maya, the botanist, documented the unique flora with a meticulous eye. Ben, the amateur photographer, captured the eerie beauty of the ancient trees with his camera. An unsettling silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the rhythmic creak of their boots on the forest floor. The usual symphony of birdsong was absent, replaced by an unnerving quietude. Maya, ever the pragmatist, dismissed it as a quirk of the ecosystem. Ben, however, felt a prickle of unease crawl up his spine. As dusk settled, casting long inky shadows across the forest floor, they stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood a lone withered pine, its branches twisted and gnarled like grasping claws. An unsettling melody emanated from the tree, a haunting tune played on an unseen instrument, a song both melancholic and strangely alluring. Alex, a shiver dancing down his spine, stopped in his tracks. "Have you ever heard anything like that?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. Maya approached the withered pine, her scientific curiosity battling a growing sense of foreboding. "It's fascinating," she murmured, her voice laced with apprehension. "Sounds almost like—" Before she could finish, Ben, mesmerized by the melody, strayed closer to the tree, He raised his camera, his finger hovering over the shutter button. As the song reached a crescendo, a horrifying sight unfolded. The gnarled branches of the withered pine writhed and pulsated, morphing into grotesque, skeletal hands. With a deafening screech, they lashed out, snatching Ben's camera and dragging him towards the twisted trunk. Shrieks ripped from Ben's throat as the skeletal hands burrowed into his flesh, drawing an unearthly green light from within him. The horrifying melody intensified, a symphony of pain and hunger. Panic surged through Alex and Maya. Maya, remembering a local legend about the starving pines, whispered, "They feed on life energy. We need to get him away." Alex, fueled by a desperate need to save his friend, grabbed a fallen branch and lunged at the skeletal hands. The branch snapped with a sickening crack, but it momentarily distracted the monstrous tree. Seizing the opportunity, Maya grabbed Ben's arm, pulling him back with all her strength. Green tendrils of light erupted from the withered pine, anchoring Ben to the spot. "Sing!" Maya screamed, her voice a desperate plea. "Sing something else. Drown out the song." Confused at first, Ben understood. He began to sing, a childhood lullaby, his voice cracking with fear but filled with resolve. The melody clashed with the starving pine's song, creating a cacophony of sound. The green tendrils weakened, their light flickering. Alex, fueled by newfound hope, joined in, singing a traditional hiking song. Together, their voices rose above the haunting melody, a desperate battle against the forest's darkness. With a final agonizing screech, the green light sputtered and died. The skeletal hands retracted back into the twisted branches, the withered pine returning to its lifeless state. Ben, drained but alive, collapsed into Maya's arms. Exhausted and shaken, they stumbled out of the clearing, the haunting melody replaced by the unsettling silence of the forest. As dawn broke, casting a pale light on the gnarled trees, they knew they would forever be marked by their encounter with the starving pines, a chilling reminder of the dark secrets held within the heart of the ancient forest. The air hung heavy with humidity as Sarah, Daniel, and Emily unpacked their gear. The serene beauty of Whispering Lake, nestled amidst towering redwoods, belied a sense of unease that gnawed at Sarah. Daniel, the ever-optimistic jokester, whistled a cheerful tune as he set up their tent. Emily, the bookworm of the group, knelt by the lake's edge, captivated by the water's iridescent shimmer. As dusk painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, an unsettling silence descended. The usual symphony of crickets and frogs was absent, replaced by an unnerving stillness. A shiver danced down Sarah's spine. "This place feels off," she murmured, her voice laced with apprehension. Daniel scoffed. "Just your imagination, Sarah. Relax and enjoy the view." But the tranquility was shattered by a faint sound, a soft murmur that seemed to emanate from the lake itself. The whispers were unintelligible, yet held a distinct, malevolent tone, sending chills down their spines. Emily, her eyes wide with fear, clutched a worn copy of local legends. This sounds like the whispers of the drowned ones," she stammered, her voice trembling. The legend spoke of vengeful spirits trapped within the lake, luring the unwary to their watery graves with their haunting whispers. Dismissing it as mere folklore, Daniel decided to investigate. He waded into the shallows, the water in unnatural stillness. Suddenly, the whispers intensified, swirling around him, weaving tales of his deepest regrets and missed opportunities. Daniel, overwhelmed by the voices, stumbled deeper into the lake, his eyes glazed over with a chilling acceptance. Sarah and Emily screamed his name, their pleas drowned out by the deafening whispers. Panicked, Sarah grabbed a fallen branch and lunged towards Daniel. With a desperate shove, she managed to push him back towards the shore. Gasping for air, Daniel collapsed on the bank, the whispers fading as he emerged from the lake's thrall. Emily, tears streaming down her face, scanned her book for a solution. "Fire," she exclaimed. "The legend says fire wards off the drowned ones." Together, they built a roaring bonfire, the flames casting flickering shadows across the water. The whispers retreated, replaced by a crackling hiss. Exhausted and shaken, they huddled close to the fire, the heat offering a fragile sense of comfort. As dawn painted the sky a hopeful orange, the lake lay still and silent. But beneath its surface, unseen ripples disturbed the water, a chilling reminder of the drowned ones and their relentless whispers. Leaving Whispering Lake behind, they carried more than just backpacks. They carried the chilling echo of whispers that forever served as a stark warning against the seductive allure of the unknown. The wind howled a mournful song through the jagged peaks as Ava, Liam, and Cho set up camp. Ava, the meticulous planner, unfolded the map, her brow furrowed as she traced their route. Liam, the seasoned climber, secured their tent against the encroaching darkness, a hint of unease etching lines on his weathered face. Cho, the free-spirited photographer, shivered despite the crackling fire, her gaze fixed on the ominous silhouette of a nearby cave entrance. Their destination, an abandoned mine rumored to hold a hidden trove of ancient artifacts. Local legends spoke of a forgotten civilization and a powerful ritual involving the offering of bones, a chilling name that sent shivers down their spines. Fueled by a thirst for adventure and a desire for captivating photographs, they disregarded the warnings. The next morning, they ventured into the cavern. The air grew thick and stale, the flickering light from their headlamps revealing crumbling tunnels and decaying equipment. Ava, notebook in hand, documented their descent, her scientific curiosity battling a growing sense of dread. Liam, ever cautious, tested the rickety wooden supports holding up the tunnels. Cho, her camera clicking incessantly, captured the eerie beauty of the forgotten mine. As they delved deeper, the whispers began. Faint at first, vaguely audible, they seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The whispers grew louder, morphing into a cacophony of pleading voices, each one begging for release. Panic surged through Chloe. The whispers spoke of a life unlived, of dreams that would forever remain unfulfilled. Tears welled up in her eyes as the voices echoed her own deepest regrets. Ava, overwhelmed by the emotional assault, felt her resolve crumble. Liam, his face pale, recognized the whispers as the chilling echo of the mine's tragic past. Suddenly, the ground beneath them gave way. They tumbled down a steep incline, landing in a cavern illuminated by an eerie green glow. In the center stood a towering obsidian altar, adorned with countless bleached bones, the chilling remnants of past sacrifices. A spectral figure materialized from the shadows, a skeletal being with glowing eyes, its form pulsating with an unnatural energy. It spoke in a raspy voice, a horrifying chorus formed by the whispers of the trapped souls. "Welcome, offerings," it boomed. "To appease the spirits and gain your freedom, you must choose one among you to join the offering of bones." Horror froze them in place. The ritual demanded a sacrifice, and the whispers, fueled by their deepest vulnerabilities, began to turn them against each other. Ava, desperate for her research, saw Liam as expendable. Liam, driven by a need to protect Ava, viewed Chloe as the weaker link. Chloe, consumed by her regrets, saw herself as a failure, a burden to the others. Just as they were on the verge of succumbing to the whisper's manipulation, a memory jolted Ava back to reality. A childhood camping trip with her archaeologist father, who had taught her the importance of respecting the past. "This is a test," she yelled, her voice ringing through the cavern. "The ritual feeds on our fear and weakness. We need to show respect for those who perished here." With newfound resolve, they joined hands, forming a circle around the altar. They spoke words of respect for the lost miners, acknowledging their sacrifice and offering a silent prayer for their peace. The whispers faltered, then ceased altogether. The spectral figure wavered, its form flickering like a dying flame. With a final anguished shriek, it dissolved into wisps of green mist, leaving behind an unsettling silence. Exhausted but relieved, they emerged from the cavern, the first rays of dawn painting the sky a hopeful orange. The abandoned mine remained a chilling reminder of the past, a testament to the greed and desperation that can lurk within human hearts. As they walked away, their backpacks felt heavier, not just with supplies, but with the weight of a shared experience. A chilling encounter with the ritual of bones and the chilling whispers of the lost. The starless night hung heavy as Mark, Elena, and Daniel set up camp in a secluded clearing. Mark, the seasoned outdoorsman, meticulously checked their gear, his usual confidence laced with a hint of unease. Elena, the astronomy enthusiast, scanned the inky blackness with frustration, her star charts useless. Daniel, the jokester of the group, attempted to lighten the mood with nervous banter. "Must be a cosmic glitch," he chuckled, his voice strained. "The universe is taking a night off from twinkling." But the lack of stars wasn't the only unsettling aspect. An unnatural stillness hung heavy in the air, broken only by the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. As the fire crackled, casting flickering shadows on their faces, a sense of dread crept into their hearts. Elena, shivering despite the warmth of the fire, spoke in a hushed voice. "This place, it feels wrong. Did you read the local legends about this area?" Mark shook his head, focusing on securing the tent flaps. Legends were for tourists, he thought, not experienced campers like himself. With a prickle of unease crawled up his spine as Elena continued. "They call it the Star Devourer," she whispered. "An ancient entity that feasts on celestial light, leaving only an unnatural darkness in its wake." Scoffs met her words, the unease remained. As night deepened, the shadows seemed to take on a life of their own, twisting and writhing in the flickering firelight. Then they heard it, a low guttural growl that seemed to originate from the heart of the darkness beyond the fire's reach. Panic surged through them. Mark grabbed his axe, the familiar weight offering a sliver of comfort. Elena, her fear momentarily forgotten, scanned the darkness with her headlamp, its beam swallowed by the inky blackness. Daniel, his bravado shattered, huddled behind Mark, his voice barely a whisper. The growls intensified, circling their campsite with predatory intent. The once distant darkness seemed to press in on them, a suffocating wall of nothingness. Then a horrifying sight emerged, a shadowy figure, its form vaguely discernible, with glowing red eyes that pierced the darkness. Mark, fueled by a primal urge to protect, charged at the creature, his axe raised high. But the entity moved with unnatural speed, dodging the blow and swiping at Mark with a clawed hand. A deafening shriek tore from Mark's throat as he stumbled back, clutching a bloody wound. Elena and Daniel, frozen in terror, watched as the creature lunged towards Mark again. In a desperate act of defiance, Elena grabbed a burning branch from the fire and thrust it towards the entity. The creature recoiled with a hiss, its form flickering and wavering in the sudden light. Seizing the opportunity, Daniel grabbed Mark and dragged him back towards the tent. Elena, tears streaming down her face, followed, throwing burning branches behind them to create a barrier of fire. They huddled inside the tent, the thin fabric a flimsy barrier against the unseen horror that lurked outside. The growls grew fainter, replaced by an unsettling silence. Dawn, when it finally arrived, unveiled a scene of horror. The once vibrant clearing was shrouded in an unnatural darkness, the absence of stars a stark reminder of the entity's presence. Mark, weak from blood loss, lay unconscious. There was no sign of the creature, but the air crackled with a malevolent energy. Elena and Daniel, forever marked by their encounter with the Star Devourer, knew they had been spared, not because of their bravery, but because the entity had feasted its fill. Leaving the campsite behind, they stumbled back to civilization, their laughter replaced by a haunting silence. The sky, finally dotted with stars, offered a bittersweet comfort. Their story, a chilling whisper amongst campers, served as a cautionary tale of the darkness that lurked beyond the campfire's reach, where even the stars could vanish, devoured by an unseen horror. The wind howled a mournful song through the twisted branches of the siren's wood as Amelia, Ben, and Olivia ventured deeper into its depths. Amelia, the mapmaker, meticulously charted their course, her brow furrowed with a growing sense of unease. Ben, the self-proclaimed survivalist, boasted of his preparedness, a nervous edge clinging to his voice. Olivia, the free spirit of the group, skipped ahead, captivated by the eerie beauty of the gnarled trees and the strange, luminescent fungi carpeting the forest floor. The legend of the Siren's Wood spoke of alluring voices that lured travelers to their doom. Amelia dismissed it as mere folklore, but the unnatural silence that hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the usual symphony of forest sounds, sent shivers down her spine. Ben, ever practical, attributed it to the dense canopy blocking out the sun. Olivia, however, seemed oblivious, humming a cheerful tune as she wandered further ahead. As dusk settled, casting long inky shadows across the forest floor, they stumbled upon an abandoned cabin, its windows dark and paint peeling. An unsettling stillness hung around it, broken only by the rhythmic creaking of the wind through the skeletal trees. Against Amelia's better judgment, Ben insisted on exploring the cabin. Olivia, fueled by curiosity, followed close behind. Amelia, with a knot of dread tightening in her stomach, reluctantly joined them. The interior was dusty and cobweb-laden, filled with the musty scent of decay. A single, flickering lantern cast an eerie glow on the dilapidated furniture. As Ben examined a tattered map on the wall, Olivia wandered towards a dusty gramophone in the corner. Suddenly, a haunting melody filled the air, a beautiful, melancholic song that seemed to emanate from the gramophone itself. Olivia, captivated by the music, reached out and placed the needle on the record. The song intensified, morphing into a mesmerizing chorus sung by ethereal voices. Amelia felt a strange pull towards the sound, an irresistible urge to draw closer. Ben, however, seemed unaffected, his brow furrowed in confusion. "This is creepy, Olivia," he muttered, his voice laced with unease. "Maybe we should get out of here." Olivia, lost in the music, ignored him. Amelia, her usual caution overridden by the alluring melody, found herself drifting towards the gramophone, her steps light and trance-like. Ben, realizing the danger, lunged towards Olivia, grabbing her arm just as she reached for the record player. A piercing shriek shattered the music, the gramophone dissolving into a pile of dust. The ethereal voices filled the air with rage and fury, accusing them of interrupting their song. Then shadows materialized in the corners of the room, grotesque figures with glowing eyes and wispy forms that stretched and contorted like smoke. Panic surged through Amelia. These were the sirens of legend, their beauty a facade masking a malevolent intent. Ben, ever resourceful, grabbed a burning log from the fireplace and hurled it at the nearest shadow. The creature recoiled with a screech, its form flickering momentarily. Olivia, finally snapping out of her trance-like state, grabbed Amelia's arm. "We need to get out of here," she screamed. They scrambled towards the cabin door, the shadows lunging after them. Then, holding them back with his makeshift torch, yelled, "Go! I'll hold them off." Amelia and Olivia burst out of the cabin and raced through the forest, the chilling song of the sirens echoing behind them. They ran blindly, fueled by terror, until they stumbled out of the woods, collapsing onto the open ground, gasping for breath. Dawn arrived, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. The sirens' wood loomed in the distance, a twisted silhouette against the rising sun. They had escaped, but they knew they would forever be marked by their encounter with the alluring melody and the horrifying truth that lay behind the legend. The wind whispered secrets through the ancient pines as Sarah Alex and Noah ventured deeper into Blackwood Forest. Sarah, the seasoned hiker, navigated by compass, her usual confidence tinged with a healthy respect for the forest's untamed wilderness. Alex, the history buff, documented their journey with meticulous notes and photographs. Noah, the brooding artist, sketched the haunting beauty of the gnarled trees and moss-covered boulders. An unsettling silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the rhythmic crunch of their boots on the forest floor. As dusk settled, casting long, inky shadows across the undergrowth, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an unnatural, sickly green light. In the center stood a lone weathered tree, its branches twisted into grotesque shapes. Dangling from its branches, illuminated by the eerie glow, were leather-bound books with tarnished clasps. Alex, his curiosity piqued, rushed towards the tree. "Look at these. Old grimoires, probably." Sarah, a knot of unease tightening in her stomach, cautioned him. "Something feels wrong, Alex. Maybe we should leave them alone." But Alex, consumed by his thirst for historical knowledge, reached out and touched a book. The moment his fingers brushed the cover, the clearing was engulfed in an unnatural darkness. A chilling laugh echoed through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. When the darkness receded, the clearing had transformed. The gnarled tree was gone, replaced by a towering, obsidian monolith. The books, now glowing with an ominous red light, pulsated with an unseen energy. The chilling laughter echoed again, closer this time, followed by a raspy voice. "Welcome, foolish mortals," it boomed. "You have awakened the devourer of lost souls. Now choose your offerings." Panic surged through them. Noah, his hands shaking, flipped through his sketchbook, desperately searching for a solution. Alex, his bravado shattered, stared in horror at the pulsating books. Sarah, her heart hammering in her chest, remembered a childhood bedtime story about a forest spirit appeased by forgotten memories. "We offer our forgotten memories," she yelled, her voice trembling but resolute. A collective gasp escaped Alex and Noah. The raspy voice chuckled, a sound devoid of humor. Intriguing. But will it be enough? With trembling hands, they each selected a book. The aged leather felt cold and clammy. Opening the covers, they found not written words, but swirling mists that depicted their most forgotten memories. Childhood dreams, lost loves, buried regrets. As they poured their forgotten memories into the books, the red glow intensified. The raspy voice screamed in frustration, a sound that echoed through the forest. Then, with a deafening crack, the monolith shattered, and the clearing was bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Exhausted but relieved, they emerged from the forest, the first rays of dawn painting the sky a hopeful orange. The Book of Lost Souls remained a chilling memory, a reminder of the darkness that lurks within the forest and the forgotten corners of our minds. The forest floor was bare, except for a single leather-bound book, its cover blank and devoid of any glow, a stark reminder of the price they had paid to appease the devourer and escape the clutches of the Blackwood forest. The silence of the White Valley was a crushing weight. Maya, the geologist, hammered away at a rock face, her frustration mirrored in the clanging echoes. Liam, the survivalist, scanned the desolate landscape, his weathered face etched with worry. Cho, the photographer, huddled in the thin shade of a weather-beaten rock, her camera a dead weight in her hand. Their expedition, initially fueled by the promise of discovering a rare mineral deposit, had taken a terrifying turn. The White Valley, named for its eerily white rock formations, was devoid of life. No birdsong, no rustling leaves, just a suffocating silence and the ever-present white dust that coated everything. Days turned into a blur of relentless sun, dwindling supplies, and a gnawing fear that had settled deep in their bones. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long skeletal shadows, Tro stumbled upon a chilling discovery, a weathered signpost, its white paint peeling to reveal a stark message. "Turn back." Panic flowed at their throats. The sign was a stark reminder of the warnings they had ignored, tales of explorers who'd vanished without a trace in the White Valley. Liam, ever the pragmatist, insisted they follow the barely visible trail leading back to the known world. But Maya, driven by a scientific fervor, refused. "Just a little further," she pleaded, eyes glittering with a manic determination. The mineral deposit could be life-changing. Liam and Tro exchanged a worried glance, but arguing with Maya in her current state seemed pointless. As dusk deepened, the wind picked up, carrying with it a fine white dust. It coated their skin, making them itch and filled the air with a sickly sweet scent. The first to succumb was Tro. Her eyes became cloudy, her movements sluggish. She spoke in a monotone, muttering about beauty and serenity. Panic surged through Liam and Maya. The white rust, a local legend dismissed as a mere superstition, was taking hold. Liam, remembering a forgotten tale about the valley's curse, knew fire was their only hope. He grabbed dry twigs and leaves, desperately trying to coax a spark from his lighter. Maya, her eyes glazed over, reached for the fire, mesmerized by the flickering flames. Liam shoved her back, his voice laced with desperation. "It's the white rust, Maya. It feeds on warmth. We need to get you away." With a superhuman strength born of fear, he dragged Maya towards the barely visible trail, the fire sputtering and dying behind them. The white rust was spreading, turning Tro into a pale, emotionless shell, her camera dangling from her hand like a forgotten relic. They stumbled through the night, the wind carrying the chilling whispers of Tro's voice, now devoid of warmth or life. Just as dawn broke, painting the sky a pale orange, they stumbled out of the White Valley, collapsing onto the familiar green ground. Exhausted but alive, they watched the desolate valley bathed in the golden morning light. The white rust seemed to recede with the darkness, leaving behind a chilling reminder of its power. Their expedition had yielded no groundbreaking discoveries, but they had learned a valuable lesson. Some secrets are best left buried, and some silences are deafening for a reason. The White Valley remained a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the chilling reality that lurks just beyond the boundaries of the known world.